Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So welcome to the second episode of this new series about sex, gender, and our self-perception of reality. I'm tackling this very important and hotly debated and controversial topic in the hope I can bring you guys clarity, I can bring you truth, I can bring you science, facts, evidence, and data. Um, and uh, and and hopefully I can make you guys think about these topics. Many things at the moment, because of all the transgender or the LGBT plus movement, are believed based on ideologies rather than based on truth and on reality. And many things are stated, many things are said to be grounded on science when in reality they're not. And uh, and I know that because of this controversial topic and this very um, like susceptible topic, many of you might find this video offensive, many of you might find what I'm going to say offensive, but remember that just because someone is not agreeing with you, with your own ideology, doesn't mean that they're hating you, doesn't mean that they are no offending you. And yeah, no, the cancel culture really is really big at the moment. No, they're claiming tolerance, but they're the first are intolerant. They're claiming rights for everybody, but the first ones that are denying rights. So let us be adults here. Let us use our brain, our critical thinking, to evaluate data, to evaluate the facts, to evaluate evidence, and to believe things to be true, because they are actually true, and not just because I want it to be true, or not just because I feel it to be true. And yeah, so I hope that this video is going to be helpful for you for that. Now, in case you haven't watched the first episode, I'm going to put it in the description below. I really recommend to go watch it. I'm not going to go through all the things I discussed there again. I'm gonna today talk about a very common argument that is presented by the activists from transgender, from the LGBT plus movement, against the fact that sex is binary, even for human beings. So there are only males or females. There isn't a third sex. There isn't anything more. And they argue using these individuals, these people that are called intersex. And these are people, he says here, individuals born with any of several sex characteristics, including chromosome patterns, gonads, or genitals that, according to this human rights commissioner, do not fit typical binary notions of male or female bodies. And now, this is I've seen like many TikTok videos and YouTube videos talking about this. And now let me be very straight. This is false. This, like the fact that some people are born with these conditions, doesn't question the fact that the reality and the fact is that human beings should be born as males or females. They should be born. This is the norm. So the norm is that human beings are born either male or female. That's the norm. That's the reality. Unfortunately, though, sometimes during the development, something goes wrong, either in the meiosis of the sex cells, either in the conception, either in the duplication of the zygote, some mutations, some alterations to genes being expressed, others being silenced. Something goes wrong. It doesn't go as it should be going. And that's where these problems can arise. Now, let me be very straight. Just because someone externally, right, so their genitals, the external appearance, is ambiguous, doesn't mean that they do not have a sex that we can't classify them. So just remember, let it sink for a minute. So just because your external body doesn't exhibit the way which should be, right, doesn't call into question the fact that you can still be classified as a male or a female, because it's all grounded by the definition. If you have organs, or if your organs are specialized and organized to produce large gametes, female, or small gametes, male. And that's it. That's the definition. So, like, we shouldn't question the reality of how human beings should be just because some human beings, and again, it's extremely rare cases, right? You can see here some numbers, extremely rare cases in which something goes wrong and therefore externally, or sometimes even chromosomically speaking, there are some anomalies in the chromosomal, in the genes, in the sex, in the gonads, right? Something goes wrong. But even in these cases, right, this doesn't question the reality of the fact that sex is binary. That human beings should be born, if everything goes right, right, and there are no problems, no issues, human beings are born as males or females, and that's it. That's the reality. So we shouldn't use these very few exceptions to then argue the fact that, well, now sex is not anymore binary, but there are more sexes just because of these conditions, which, once again, even if they affect how your chromosomes are or how your external body looks like, this doesn't come into question the fact that you can still be classified with one sex or the other. And sex is still binary, even in these individuals, because there are still only two types of gametes, large and small. There isn't a third type of gamete. So that's why there isn't like such a thing as a third or fourth sex. It's just pure pseudoscience, and it's not grounded on reality and on what science actually says. So that's my point. That's what I wanted to show you here. And again, remember that the disorders in what's called here disorders of sex development is just a tiny one level of the many genetical conditions that can affect the human body. Look here, this is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Look here, the list of selected external but also internal congenital anomalies to consider. Look here how many. The nervous system, the brain, the encephalus, spina bifida, the microcephaly, malformations of the ear, congenital problems of the heart. All these are problems of the heart. Orofacial clefts, digestive problems, genital organ problems, musculoskeletal problems, limb deficiency or limb problems, abdominal wall defects, chromosomal abnormalities. Look at how many things can go wrong during the development of a human being. Now, are we now questioning how human beings should be just because of all these different congenital conditions that could happen? Of course not. We're not now saying, well, human beings can be born with 2 arms and 1 leg, or 1 arm and 2 legs, or 1 arm and 1 leg, just because in some cases this happens, right? This doesn't question the reality of the fact that human beings are born with 2 arms and 2 legs, exactly as all the organs, or the heart, or the brain, the nervous system, the musculoskeletal system, the organs, and so on. So these congenital anomalies are called anomalies because it's not the norm. If something goes wrong, something that there is a mutation, an alteration, something just doesn't work as it should be. And that's why there are these conditions. So again, these are medical conditions, these are problems, this is not the norm, this is not something that should happen always. This is something that unfortunately it happens. And even in these cases, we can still assign and classify these individuals as females if they produce large gametes, or if they have the tissue, the organized tissue to produce large gametes, so they have ovarian tissue, or as males if they produce small gametes, or they have testicular tissue. So that's how we can still classify them as males or females. So again, this is just pseudoscience. Anyone arguing that the intersex people prove that there is a third sex do not know what they're talking about, and do not know the science behind it, and are ignoring all the rest of congenital conditions that could happen, and are just ignoring the reality of the fact that just because these conditions can happen and can affect the external aspect of the genitals, or how the human body looks like, or anything else, because unfortunately these sex disorders do not just cause problems on the reproductive system. They cause problems in all the system, so in the whole human body. And remember that still, even despite all this doesn't question the reality, the fact that sex is still binary. And remember, your value doesn't come from your sex, doesn't come from who you identify, it doesn't come from society, doesn't come from your parents, doesn't come from what you believe. They don't come from how you look like. They come because of you are created in the image of God. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes you worth. That's what makes you to have infinite value and to be a precious human being, to have a precious life. And God loves you no matter what you're going through, no matter if you are affected by any of these conditions. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're affected by any conditions, even if you're healthy, by you identify, you believe something else. It doesn't matter. God still loves you, and you're worthy because you're created in His image. And that's the argument that I wanted to bring today. So just refuting this common argument that I've seen, the activists of the transgender movement using to support the claim that sex is not binary for human beings, and yeah, that's just completely false. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and see ya. Bye bye.